is training for new consultants, number 1, how to manage your inventory. First, we're going to discuss build your inventory. Basically, Mary Kay has always said you can't sell from an empty wagon, which basically just means we should have product on our shelves so that the customer can receive their product as soon as we sell it to them. We may not have it with us, right at that moment, but they can actually have their product delivered to them within, like a 24-hour time period. People are definitely impulse buyers. Many times when you are doing a skincare party, one of the first questions that they ask is, when can I get my product? Well, if you have your product on the shelf, you are able to get the product to the customer within a timely fashion. Also, if you have product on your shelf, you are more likely to use more of our products. Being a Mary Kay Beauty consultant, we should always be using our products because it is much easier to sell the product when you actually are using it. It's kind of hard to tell somebody, what you believe the product is doing for them or will do for them if you yourself are not using the product. Next, we're going to discuss controlling your inventory. Now, I know that sounds a little overwhelming when we're talking about controlling your inventory. But first, you need to choose a place in your home where you are going to store your product. Doesn't necessarily have to be, a large area, but someplace where if you do have children, it's kind of out of the way so that you don't have to worry about little fingers or even sometimes big fingers getting into your product that you may have, for customers. Then the next you would need to do is you need to have a system and kind of categorize your product. And basically what that means is you want to have your product in some type of an order, which would be you would have all of your miracle sets together, or all of the time-wise cleansers and moisturizers in the day and the night solutions. I'm sure you guys can kind of, get the grasp at where, we are going with that. And to categorize, don't go crazy, trying to do it. Another thing that you really need to do is you need to get the labels through MK Connections, which would have your name on it, your phone number, your website also, and you want to make sure your products have labels on them. Because what happens is if we sell stuff without labels and our customers run out of the product, they're going to panic if they aren't somebody that you know personally. Which in our business, we aim very much to make sure that our customers know us personally. So you want to make sure you have labels on your products. Then, if and when you are placing your order, and we all get very excited about having samples. Now, I will tell you, I do not have a lot of samples. I usually use full-size product for my demos. I have little containers that I can put some of the product in and send to customers, like the cleansers, the moisturizers, the foundations, especially the foundations, because it gets very costly if you are purchasing a lot of samples. So it is important that you kind of control that impulse buying of the samples, and along with the lipsticks and so forth. Little bit is okay. If you are spending, $50, $60 on samples, that is not good business. So I strongly encourage you to kind of rein yourself back in if you are, thinking of spending that much on samples. You're better off using full-size product that you can send to a customer if need be. They can return it if they do not like it. Once you have your inventory on your shelves, you need to basically have a way of keeping track of your inventory. Now, That too can be a little overwhelming, but there are different ways of keeping track of your inventory. One could be a software. There is different types of software that's out there. Actually, Mary Kay is now going to be launching a new program that will allow us to actually purchase it through Mary Kay and be able to have it for our inventory, and it would be for on the go. We could access it through our phones, through our iPads, through our computers, and so forth. But there are other companies out there also that have software for managing Mary Kay inventory. There's also a way of just doing like an Excel spreadsheet, especially if you are proficient in Excel, or if you have someone who is proficient in Excel, to be able to set up a program for you so that you can just plug in your numbers with the names of the products and maybe the product number, so that you could do a search to see if you have that product in stock or if you are in need of ordering. Then there's also just the manual way of doing inventory, which if you don't have a lot of inventory, manual is fine. When I first started out, that's basically how I kept track of my inventory, was just by manually counting it. Now I will tell you, in all of this with the labeling and keeping track of your inventory, if you have, a child, say at your house, that is a little bit younger, that would be able to help with the labeling, ask them to help. The more that you can get your family involved in this little process, the better it is for you, because then they feel that they are part of your business also. If you have an older child, say in their teens, or a neighbor or something, maybe you can ask them to even help you with the labels, or even with the inventory if you're not really proficient with Excel. A lot of these younger people are very good with the technological world, and it will also save you time and money. Going through the little process here of once you have your inventory and you are selling, we call a 60-40 split is basically how you should run your business. And what that is meaning is, when you actually do a 60-40 split, you won't embezzle from yourself. And embezzling from yourself would be that you took all of your profit and you put it right directly into your bank and didn't purchase anything to replace the product that you had sold. So we strongly encourage the 60-40 split, and that is 60% of it goes back into your business to fund product orders, sales aids, like your sales tickets and so forth, and also for mailing of the products if you were mailing things to your customers. And then 40% would be your profit, which would be what you are permitted to basically pay yourself, and to maybe give yourself, a paycheck once a week, or every 2 weeks, or however you would deem it. Then that way you are not embezzling from your business. How should you decide if you need to increase the amount of inventory that you have on your shelves? Well, there's a couple of different ways that you can look at this. One would be, you need to increase because your ideal numbers need to change, which would be basically like with your cleansers and your moisturizers. When you're first starting out, you might only need to have 5 or 6. But as your business is growing, and the more people that you are actually seeing and putting the product on their face, and that they are buying first off, and then the reorders, you will need to increase what your ideal amount is that you would have on your shelf. And also, another way would be is if you notice you are running out of a specific product quickly. And I know one of the items that we sell a lot of is our eye makeup remover. Now, the eye makeup remover, like I said, is something that goes off the shelf very, very quickly. So, that's just an example of product. I know mine is eye makeup remover, and I do sell a lot of the foundation primers. So you will know as you are going along through the business and as you are selling as to where and what you're going to need to increase so that you have product on your shelf so that your customers can get their instant gratification when they are running out of their product. Because that is one thing I will tell you, we are women and we are always the last minute to remember that, ooh, we're out of something, so we need to call somebody right away and get our product. And that is actually, I do the exact same thing and it's in my house. Sometimes I forget that I need to do that. So that's why it is important to stay in contact with your product and with your people so that you know exactly what you need and what amount you need. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about our limited edition products, and that gets to be a little touchy. Limited edition is exactly as it sounds, a limited edition. Once we have the product and we know about the product coming out, we are very fortunate because our company lets us know usually a month, sometimes maybe 2 months ahead of time as to when the new product is actually coming out. So in our Applause magazines, which is mailed to our homes once you are an active consultant, it is a very important magazine to actually take a look at because it gives us all of these little tidbits so that we're in the know. And it will say when the limited edition product is actually going to be coming out. And a lot of times new consultants will ask, well, how much of the limited edition product should I purchase? Well, honestly, I always say that to my consultants that they should order one for a demo and at least 1 or 2 to have on their shelf. Now, if you really, really like the product once you get the product in hand and you're using it, because we should all use all of the new products when they come out so that we can tell our customers exactly how it works, and you are really falling in love with it and you personally want to use it, I would strongly urge you not to wait, but to place another order to get some of that specific product, because being limited edition, once it is gone from the company, it is gone, and you would need to try to find it possibly from another consultant if it was something that somebody wanted and you didn't have it. That's why it is really important to contact your customers and say, hey, I know that this product is coming out and I think it's really going to be amazing, and I want to know if you're interested and I can go ahead and pre-order for you. So basically you're putting them on kind of like a list, and then that way you know how much product to actually order, and those people will then be quite happy that they received the actual limited edition product because it will go very quickly. Our products are phenomenal and they do sell out rather quickly. The next thing that we're going to talk about is keeping track of your personal use. Now, I know that kind of sounds funny, but as I had said back in the beginning, it is really important that we as consultants use our products from the company, because we are our best advertisement and we get to write off our product because we are actually advertising for the company when we put all of this wonderful product on our faces. So in order to keep your inventory correct for like your tax purposes and so forth, it's very, very important that you keep track of your personal use of your product. Now, you can keep track of it, a couple of different ways. I keep the boxes when I take the product out, or the shell, whatever, as you're taking the product out. And if you have actual software or your Excel spreadsheet, you want to, of course, reduce that from your inventory because that is taken off of your shelf. And if you have the software, the same thing, you would actually take it out of the software. But if you are actually manually doing your inventory, what you would like to do is take one of our pink sales tickets and write down everything that you are using. Now you can keep track of that on a monthly basis, every couple of months. It just depends on how much product you are actually going through in the course of the months. But it is really, truly important to keep track of this. Now, if you are doing it on a monthly basis, what you can do is you can keep an envelope with like all of your receipts and things like that for each month, January through December, and each month you can put your little sales ticket for your personal use product into that respective month, so that when you come to the end of the year, in order to do your taxes, you have all of that information in one central location. And as I said, if you have a software, you would definitely want to make sure that you're keeping track of your inventory out of the software itself. Now, once the product is moving off of your shelf and you're getting more inventory in as it's coming in and you're purchasing and you're selling and really excited about your Mary Kay business, one of the other things that's really important is rotating your inventory. Now I know it sounds kind of silly, but let's face it, the grocery stores have to rotate their products. Well, it's very, very important for us in Mary Kay to rotate our product also. Now, we say, why is it so important? Well, we want to make sure that any of the product that is older, that may have come in when you placed your first order, and say you're into your third or fourth month and you're ordering, you want to make sure that everything that you had ordered in the first shipment is to the front of wherever you are actually storing the inventory, so that you are selling that first. Also, you will notice on our products, several of them have expiration dates due to the SPF factors, and just basically most of it is the SPF. But you want to make sure that you look at the expiration dates that are on the boxes, and that you put the, of course, oldest product, which would be expiring first, toward the front, so that you are actually selling that the soonest, because once it does expire, unfortunately, we cannot sell it, and you cannot return that to the company and say, oh, well, so-and-so used this, and I just want to get this replaced because they didn't like it. That's not how our actual return policy on our product actually works. So you want to make sure that you keep track of your expiration dates on the products. And again, if you're using Excel, you can have a column in the Excel program that would have for an expiration date, and you can actually keep track of that. Or in the different software also, you can keep track of expiration dates. Now, we're going to get close to wrapping up, this first training, which is managing your inventory. And I just want to make sure that you don't get too bogged down with everything that I was just sharing with you, because there's a lot of information that I gave you, and there's a lot of people out there who like to have organization, and I'm one of them, which I have lists everywhere. And I know for those of us that are like me, this can become very, very time consuming, and we don't want this part to be time consuming for you, because the most important thing for you to be doing is to be going out, booking, selling, and recruiting. because that is the way that you build your Mary Kay business. So please make sure that if you have, any questions about what we're talking about here today, that you jot them down. You contact one of your sales directors or a sister consultant who is seasoned, but preferably contact one of your sales director or a sales director that is actually at your meeting, and ask them those questions, because it's better to get the answers from people who have been in the business and have been where you have been. It is not always a good thing to ask your sister consultant that might have started the same day that you did, because everybody has, a different answer and a different opinion. Now remember, go out, book, sell, and recruit. And the homework that we are going to be assigning in this new trainings that we are doing for new consultants, we're going to give you a little bit of homework at the end of each of the trainings. And for the managing your inventory, what we would like you to do is, we would like you to take a picture of your inventory wherever it is set up in your little space or in an office or wherever. Take a picture. You can take it with your phone and either email it or bring it to the next success meeting and show us that you have completed your piece of homework. I hope that this is helpful to all of you, and thank you so much for tuning in and watching our brand new consultant training. Have a great day.